The Christian who wants to learn something about church history often wants to be informed mainly to be inspired, and finds the question of truth to be of paramount importance. The result is that popular church history often tilts toward the sensational and the hagiographic, avoiding all those pesky contextual questions for the sake of a good, straightforward story. When one recalls the intuitive Protestant antipathy to the Middle Ages and even to many elements of the early church, the picture is made more discouraging. Books written for the non-specialist Protestant on these periods tend to reinforce precisely that prejudice. This is where Mark Graham's book is so useful. Not only does it introduce the listener to an era of church history that is often neglected in evangelical circles, the first millennium, but it does so in a way that connects the careful and sober approach of a professional historian to the kinds of questions that interest Christian believers. Here is judicious use of broader context, helping the listener understand, for example, what the 2nd century Roman governor Pliny meant when he described Christianity as superstitio. And here is also care to help us understand the qualitative difference between a heresy like Arianism and what one might characterize as an egregious but not soul-damning error like Nestorianism. Graham takes the listener not merely outside the usual chronological boundaries of the Protestant world, but also beyond the geographical boundaries of the Western world. There are discussions of Ethiopia, China, and the Umayyad Islamic Empire. There's a cast of characters that includes John of Damascus, the great defender of icons, and Cyril of Thessaloniki, whose linguistic prowess and missionary adventures would be remarkable even today in our era of computers and easy travel. That he was a 9th century churchman verges on incredible. In short, in an era when the question of the global status of Christianity is uppermost in many minds, Graham helps us see how the faith has always been worldwide in its scope. This is a remarkable book. The only parallel I can think of is Robert Louis Wilkins' The First 1,000 Years, a global history of Christianity. Graham, like me, is an admirer of Wilkins' work, another true scholar who can also speak movingly of church history to a broader audience. I can think of no higher praise than to draw such a comparison, for this is that rarest of books, a popular presentation of church history that could only have been written by a scholar. Keep listening. You will be informed, entertained, and edified. Carl R. Trueman, Professor of Biblical and Religious Studies, Grove City College, author The Rise and Triumph of the Modern Self.